that if you were to graph the United States, what direction are we going in freedom-wise? What direction are we going in morally? What direction are we going in financially? Does anyone see the present political climate changing that? Even if the Republicans are in, what are you leaving your children and your grandchildren? What are you leaving your posterity? Versus what did our founders of this country leave us? I'm not going to ask for the type of sacrifice our founders did, but I am going to ask for people to get enthusiastic about America. Because right now, the liberal left is enthusiastic about America, and they want to take it. Illegal immigrants, enthusiastic about America. The rise of Islam, they're enthusiastic. This is great stomping grounds to come here and spread their faith. How many of you are as enthusiastic as those groups are about getting America back on its lawful foundation? I'm going to show you the actual overthrow of the governments of this country and what we've got to do to get it back. Reconstruction Act said, North Carolina, you're annulled. You don't exist anymore. Bam. Did they exist in 1865, amending the Constitution? Peace is declared in 1866. March 2nd, 1867, Congress says, you're not a state anymore. Done deal. Don't exist. You're a territory. Was that in line with the object of the Civil War? No, total opposition. And in order to come back into the Union, you've got to have a new Constitution. By the way, you're not going to come up with it. We will. You have to have a convening of your legislature, and that legislature is required. What's got to happen? It shall adopt the 14th Amendment. It's got to be part of the federal Constitution. Is this coercion? You're not a state until you do this?
The United States Congress coerced the passage of the 14th Amendment. In order to do that, they annulled 10 states of the American Union. They said the only way you're allowed to come back into the Union is if only people loyal to Washington. You take an oath to Washington, then those people can adopt a new Constitution, and we'll bring that state back into the American Union. 2 states called the state of North Carolina have entered the American Union. One was annulled by an act of Congress in times of peace.
A title of conquest stands on clear ground. It's a new title acquired by war. This is a transfer of title of the state of North Carolina from the freemen of North Carolina to United States citizens residing here. It's a new title. The federal government conquering states. Now, a lot of people will say that the 14th Amendment was designed to give blacks civil rights because of the black codes that were being imposed down there. And I'm going to tell you that the Reconstruction Acts are actually the largest black code ever passed. Why? Were there blacks in the northern states? Absolutely. Yet only have black suffrage in these 10 states. Blacks do not vote in Tennessee. Blacks still cannot vote in New York, Ohio. Blacks could not vote in any of the northern states. And if you go back to the literature time, you'll start seeing they say, well, if we allow blacks to vote in the South, all the ones here will migrate southward. And it was designed to rid their state, to give enticement for these states, for the blacks in the northern states to go southward. And what the 14th Amendment did, and this legislation did, is it started pitting black against white. This is the creation of the friction, where the federal government said, you guys can't vote, you guys can't, and we're going to enforce it by the bayonet. And in making this extension of citizenship, we are not confining the breadth and scope of our efforts to the Negro. It is for the white man as well. We intend to make citizenship national. Again, if you get rid of state citizenship, make everyone a citizen of Congress, there are no independent states. They're all composed of United States citizens rather than North Carolinians, South Carolinians, Virginians.
Folks, this forgotten part of our history is monumental. But you're asking yourself, how does this relate to us today? Maybe you've heard of Roe versus Wade. It universally legalized abortion across the United States in 1973, based on the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Maybe you've heard of Stone versus Graham, which held that the display of the Ten Commandments was unconstitutional, thanks to the 14th Amendment. Perhaps you've heard of Abington School District versus Schimpf, which held that school prayer was unconstitutional, thanks to the 14th Amendment. Maybe you've heard of Hewitt versus the City of King case, which happened just a few years ago here locally, based on the 14th Amendment. All of these cases rely on the 14th Amendment, and the 14th Amendment was put into place by those acts of Reconstruction. All of these cases rely on the fact that America is no longer a federation of sovereign states with state citizens, but essentially now we've become one large state of national citizens, controlled universally by and receiving benefits from a national body. Perhaps you've heard of the CIA, the FBI, and the IRS, the Department of Education. Maybe you're familiar with Homeland Security, Patriot Act 1, Patriot Act 2, the Military Commissions Act, or the NDAA, the EPA, or the NSA. The size and uncontrollable scope of today's national government owes its origins to the unauthorized power and the precedent that was established and claimed by the 39th Congress on March 2nd, 1867. Don't we all call ourselves U.S. citizens? We're proud to be U.S. citizens. Haven't we always been U.S. citizens? Well, actually, no. If you go back before the Civil War, we were state citizens. State citizens were each loyal to their own state. This is a major difference from the way it works today. Today, all citizens in every state are national United States citizens whose rights, especially those most divisive issues like we just discussed, are ultimately determined on the national stage. It's an issue with loyalty.
Since 1867, there's been no further test of the constitutionality of these acts which nationalize citizenship. It is my firm belief we have legal remedy if we have people willing to stand on what is true and just.
How many people are taught this in American history? We're here thinking the government in place right now was the one put in place by George Washington. That was annulled. March 2nd, 1867. They want to say the war was about a moral cause. It was slavery. And if you teach anything different, then believe it or not, you just joined the Klan.
Is it the government that virtually everyone in this room is participating in? That we're trying to figure out how to remedy America? Can you ever get back and be the lawful body politic of free people as long as you recognize this act? This is the act that I go after in court. Prove this is lawful. Prove to me the state of North Carolina is lawfully created. I'll get your driver's license. I'll pay your taxes. I'll do whatever you want. I can find no evidence to support the legality of this.
Article 4, Section 4. Congress shall guarantee to every state a Republican form of government. Reconstruction, do they give us a Republican form of government or do they coerce and force one on us? That's what's in operation today. We said the remedy was, and we did this in 1997, we said the reason we don't have lawful government, no one's participating in it. We did a Declaration of Reestablishment. We said we're going to reestablish the original state of North Carolina that was annulled by Congress. It's never been changed by the consent of the people of North Carolina. In law, I have no obligation to recognize this entity. I have not had a driver's license in 20 years, over 20 years. Okay? Gets me in their system every once in a while. I go in there, I say, okay, I will get your license if you can prove, because you issued it, you say I'm supposed to have it, I don't think you're created lawful. If you can show me that Reconstruction, that war that Abraham Lincoln waged, and Reconstruction were lawful and constitutional, that Congress has the powers that it did, I will get your license. Otherwise, it's unconstitutional. And what I'm going to do is reestablish the original state. You know, there was 13 of us. We signed a declaration, just like our founding fathers. We used their principle. This is a peaceful, lawful remedy. But you got to know where the law was violated. We sent a copy of it. We give notice. And we've been going into court and fighting them, and we're trying to rally troops, the people who want to say, we want to reclaim what was illegally stolen from us. And I want to know how many people here want to reclaim what was stolen from us rather than riding this train wreck to oblivion. Woo! But we got to come together as a people, focused, not divided. What is the problem? And then stand on it. The Lord tells us in 2 Thessalonians of coming with the lawless one. The people ceased having a love of the truth, and the Lord gave them over to strong delusions of where they believe a lie. We got to get back to our roots, back to our foundation. Come visit us, guys. We got to get this country back. I'm looking for you. Let's reclaim what was taken from us.
Everybody's fighting to control America except the people where everything was taken away from. Because they wouldn't take no for an answer, and they kept going. When are we going to say, I'm not taking no for an answer, let's get going? So we've got these artificial cinder blocks in front of us. They're not there. Let's explore it, man. Let's take America back. I think it's worth fighting for.